Welcome back to the final Smash Ultimate tier list. This is part 2. Make sure you go watch video 1 on the low tiers if you haven't yet, and it'll get you up to speed. Every single character in the game here is ranked from worst to best. I'll denote where the tier list gaps are in videos we split evenly based on the characters. And as last time, we're going to work through the mid-tier characters, taking a look at the next 20 characters in the game, going through lower mid and into the upper mid-tier. So without further ado, let's get into it. Continuing on our lower mid-tier is number 65, Meta Knight. Meta Knight had a good last patch and made up smash, up throw, fair, and back air a lot stronger. I will say he does lack some notable results beyond locals. I do have some Meta Knight players that come to mind. I think of Bonk as one of the main ones. And of course, when you see these characters and these players do really well with Meta Knight, one thing you'll note is how well they're able to get these insane gimps with his character, especially up air, up air, up air, up B chain, and maybe some edge guards into tornado with devastating knockback. The character does rely a lot on these gimps. However, he does have a very, very good forward smash that's basically nearly impossible to punish. He does rely on these touch of death setups, but when you think of touch of death setups, you get overshadowed by Fox, Greninja, characters of that sort. However, I think I do like where he is in this list. He's not completely inviolable, and he's not the game-breaking god that he was in Brawl. You have to really work for the kills here, and that's why he's become more of a fan favorite when you see him there. So props to Meta Knight players. Of course, he's got a really good recovery. He's got multiple jumps. He's got really, really fast frame data, but he does have weaknesses, and a lot of players know how to take advantage of it now. So Meta Knight 65. Thank you all for watching the tier list series videos that we've made. Worked really hard on it. To give back to you guys watching it, I'm giving away a $25 Nintendo eShop gift card for every 100,000 views the entire series gets. Be a lot of winners. All you gotta do is like, comment, and subscribe, and you're entered to win. Good luck, and let's get back to the video. Number 64, Me Gunner. Me Gunner to me is the middle of the pack for the Miis. Capitancito specifically performed well at Smash World Tour, beating Tilde. The thing with Me Gunner though is that he does rely on camping and lack of matchup experience. They do have a flow chart and they want to sort of get in your head, mentally drain you, and then execute you. But again, when you're talking about that sort of style, you're overshadowed by characters like Samus, like Rob, so on and so forth. A lot of the players who would be playing Gunner sort of gravitate to those characters instead. But I will say though, me Gunners, I really, really like character players that can get hard reads, especially with that forward smash and up air, which sort of had that long-lasting hitbox. It seems pretty cool when they get it, and you gotta sort of have some hard reads there. A lot of finishers too, they use a up smash or a good forward smash, and Capitancito proved this character can get really, really far in a bracket. But again, you gotta be very, very patient. Number 63, Duck Hunt. Duck Hunt is a pretty weirdo character, not gonna lie. One of the most strange characters in the whole game. Very few results outside of local placements. You rely on complex, inconsistent setups, poor disadvantage, and recovery. Duck Hunt though is pretty much represented by only a few players. Of course, Raito from Japan comes to mind. One thing I will say about Duck Hunt though is that in the most recent Smash World Tour Platinum event, which was ultra hard in Brazil, a Duck Hunt actually ended up winning the entire tournament. So it's technically a Duck Hunt winning a major. He goes by the name of Sakai Dago. It was unexpected, but yeah, the guy just legitimately won the tournament with Duck Hunt and sort of didn't hold back. So he's a player from Chile. I think he's ranked 10th on the Chilean power rankings. So props to him, and we'll see how far this character can go. You got to use that can, you got to use those gangster setups, you got to use just really interesting play and movement. The character has a good recovery, but it's kind of slow and can be gimped easily. It all depends on how much you can micromanage multiple projectiles at the same time. And then of course use really strong moves like up air or down smash, forward smash to finish off your opponent. Number 62, Marth. We had to put Marth somewhere, and I think at this point he's pretty much considered a lower mid character. He's very inconsistent due to the tipper size and arcs. The sour spots are very unsafe, and they offer very little rewards. Marth is definitely vastly overshadowed by Lucina, but there is a few players that come to mind. I remember one that was very notable for me was Ignaze from SoCal. He has a combo video on Twitter or on YouTube that I saw, and it blew my mind away. So that's the thing with Ultimate. If you put enough energy or effort into these characters from, 79 upwards, who knows what you can do. Maybe you can win a Platinum Major and surprise everyone. But yeah, Martha's over here. Number 61, Lucas. Choco Taco was Lucas, who actually upset Cola at Let's Make Big Moves. So right there, proof of the upset potential of this character. Lucas, of course, overshadowed by Ness, but he's different enough from Ness where you can justify why certain people like playing over it. He's easy to edge guard. He does have some interesting combos. He's very spam worthy with PK Fire. Frame data can be pretty decent, but he has lackluster moveset and hitboxes. He only has a few combos that come to mind. And you got to really rely, again, on sort of these hard reads and fast reaction time, because the character is going to be tossed around pretty hard. You got to be patient again, space out your opponents, and make sure you're prepared to hear PK Fire many, many times ringing in your eardrums. Number 60, Zelda. Zelda is a character in Smash Ultimate. Wow, H-Box, good going. But no, she has some slow movement and her sweet spots are pretty inconsistent. She relies on the Phantom Knight and a lack of matchup knowledge to really shine. However, I will say that players such as Ven, who I think Ven is pretty much the rep for Zelda at this point, really showcase the damage that Zelda can output if you don't know where to stand or what you're doing. Of course, her fair and back air is some of the strongest in the game. The up B can be used as a gimp up the top if she's able to read you on it. And she can play the waiting game the whole time if you want to. And you have to approach her eventually because that fire is going to hit you at some point with a Din's Fire. But I think the reason there's so little ups to this character is because her weaknesses and her speed that just don't mesh well for a lot of people. And she is going to struggle significantly in a lot of top tier matchups. So props to you if you play Zelda. I will say online during the delay, she does have a massive buff, much harder to react to things, but offline, you have to work that much harder. Number 59, Simon and Richter. T3 Dom is who I think of for Simon and Richter because he upset Goblin in main stage and he actually managed to place 13th at Glitch Infinite. I call them Dombos and a pretty good, indicator of what the character can and can't do. The problem with Simon and Richter is that they are super easy to gimp. Sure, they have a bit of a tether and a up B with priority, but they have a very slow airspeed. And they're usually going to be panicking off the stage. I'm a Puff player. It's just do forward throw, touch of death, and that's basically it. They throw furniture at you all day, as I mentioned before, and the meta for them really revolves around hitting these Holy Water, Holy Fire setups, getting these tilts. They have very good tilts in the game, of course, launching a back air at a good distance, keeping just enough distance between you and the opponent so that you can maximize the big move hitboxes and the big knockback on those moves, while trying to keep yourself safe. So good luck using them because they have slow airspeed and it's really, really hard for them to keep up with certain matchups in this game. Number 58, Bowser Jr. The last patch pretty much improved the dash attack and up smash damage, the down tilt, and the side B spin out knockback. When I think of Bowser Jr., online I think of my boy Zap, but offline, more specifically, I think of Ketchup. Ketchup's upset on Light was a giant statement. That was heard around the world. That man just opened up the sauce packets everywhere. But it doesn't really change Junior's overall lacking results. Of course, he has a very gimpable recovery. He's combo food. He's got a large hurt box. He does have some interesting pros, though, especially the fact that his jab, kills one of the strongest in the game. Up smash out of shield comes out very, very quickly. Forward smash is relentlessly strong, but you can fall out of it sometimes too, which is kind of bogus. But of course, the up B in general, it sort of acts as a bomb, and then you can use that hammer swing to kill it devastatingly low percents. Very weirdo character, right? Another one where if you don't know the matchup, you're definitely screwed versus a top Bowser Jr. And then Yoda Cage also comes to mind. I think Yoda Cage is actually one of the, if not the best player in his region with Bowser Jr. So props to him. But again, gotta be creative. Gotta play freeform jazz with these characters to win in certain matchups. Number 57, Toon Link. Toon Link is very floaty, struggles to land. The bomb timer is very long and hard to use for recovery. And the problem with Toon Link is that he's generally overshadowed by the other Links, Young and Adult, which are great characters in their own regard. Toon Link, you need to really have a stopwatch handy and wait for those 7 minutes to go up, because you can't be the aggressor there. Toon Link is sort of an autocorrect character. If you mess up, you're going to see a bomb in your face, a boomerang in your face, arrow, rinse and repeat over and over. Has a pretty strong up air to kill you. Up B out of shield, not nearly the combo tool setup that young Link has, but very, very floated, right? So if you like Jigglypuff, but you also like Link, boy, do I have the character for you. But yeah, there's a reason you see very, very few of these more of the others. But if that's your thing and you sort of like that sort of slower tempo of the character, I would recommend Toon Link. And there are some players which really still make it work, of course. I believe one is Marvelous Marco from SoCal. Number 56, Mewtwo. The last patch made forward tilt stronger and forward throw do a lot more damage. He has a giant tail hurt box, but the problem is he's very light and floaty. Waddy has shown that he can get some decent performances, but this character, if you are getting outranged, if you're getting killed upwards a lot, if you're getting red where you're going to float, and that up B, it has a good snap to ledge, but if you sort of can read it, it's highly gimbable. If you don't really know what you're doing there, it's going to be a bad time for you. I like Mewtwo's Nair a good bit. It's a good out of shield option. I like the fact that he can sort of charge up that Shadow Ball to intimidate a lot of his opponents. Really strong up throw, really strong back throw, huge range on his back air. But still, of course, like most characters already in this section of the tier list, just is lacking that extra X factor to make him sort of win random matchups on a whim. I do like the fact that some players really are good with footstools, and I think it's the footstool into the Confuse, which sort of stuns your opponent. If you're able to do that, you can get some crazy stuff going. But it requires a good bit of tech skill, a good bit of know-how on timing, a lot of dedication to this character to make him shine the way he should, the way he did in the first Pokemon movie. Number 55, Rosalina and Luma. The last patch made Luma take less knockback and improved her down smash range. DeBuzz has used Rosa and Luma in high placing runs. He's a very tall character, easy to hit, floaty, light, juggled easily, and dies early. Luma can definitely have a huge power advantage if you know what you're doing and set it up. And of course, you can control Luma from a distance. I've seen DeBuzz do some amazing stuff with edge play on Luma, especially with that very, very last second back air. There's no hitbox on the recovery, and Luma, unfortunately, is very easy to kill. So, in general, again, if you're going to play this character, you got to take advantage of the fact that the player probably will be trying to kill Luma a lot of time, and you want to punish them while they're going for Luma, but that's not always easy because she isn't exactly a fast character. And I can definitely tell why DeBuzz has opted to play just a lot more Olimar or Alf over Rosa and Luma. But I have no doubt, I can still see this character still having some reps, but man, compared to the beast that she was in Smash 4, it's no wonder you don't see her too often in this game. Number 54. Jigglypuff! Jigglypuff is out of the low tier, I'll admit it. Jigglypuff is a mid-tier character. Base Mage, thank you. So happy he got into Summit because he made multiple upsets, got top 8 at that tournament. Although Puff is the second lightest character in the game, she still has some crazy options that can kill you in seconds if you don't know what you're doing. She does rely on Touch of Death Gimps and rest setups to close out stocks before exploding, but she struggles heavily versus disjoints, and long active moves do leave Puff vulnerable if parried. But again, we're talking about characters that have that X factor. Rest is always on the table at any point, no matter how far you are behind. I'm talking 3 stocks behind, massive percent, you can still win with this character. And then you have the RNG aspect. People don't really talk about it, but like Puff's drill rest sort of reminds me of a much more simplified Game & Watch Hammer, where it's sort of a 1 in 3 chance instead of a 1 in 9 chance of hitting it. And the character is very, very light. It's much more guaranteed. Heavier, less guaranteed. But yeah, especially with the advent of Dare Loops, this character has really, really been pushed upwards and forwards. So huge props to Base Mage, and of course all the other players in the community for Puff who are constantly innovating and pushing this character to its absolute limits. I've been motivated, and I've been playing this character since the game came out, having a lot of fun with her. So happy that she's, in my eyes and everyone's eyes, I think a middle tier right now. Number 53, Robin. To close out the middle tier, we have Robin. Robin's last patch buffed the jab knockback. Angel especially performs well locally. The issue with Robin, of course, is that Robin has super slow movement and has to manage tools carefully due to the time and sword limit. Now, we've seen players with Robin make great use of charging the electric power, using arc fire on the ledge for insane setups and checkmates. It's a character that is, in a sense, hard read, but the up B has enough sort of like aerial drift where you can maneuver it and mix up where you're going to be. And at the same time, you have good to decent, I wouldn't say amazing, but decent range on the Levin sword. But you have to make sure you don't just spam it and waste it, because then you have to wait for it to charge back up. But it's very, very strong when it does. I used to count this character out, especially. I thought this character was really bad for a while. It took me, especially this year, to realize everything Robin can do. And I really do think Robin can go on a great run, especially at a national. I could see Robin making top 8 at a national, especially in the hands of a player as talented as Angel. So definitely be on the lookout for Angel. And I'm expecting a lot more players to play Robin, because the character is getting trickier and trickier. Upper mid-tier. Alright, so we've got about half of the mid-tier cast down, and we're jumping from the lower mid-tier to the upper mid-tier. While it's very similar, I feel this grouping of the mid-tier is a bit stronger overall than the others, where we started to see more representation and results. You need to really be prepared with matchup knowledge for this upper mid-tier, since you're starting to see like this characters pretty often in the brackets. Again, these characters at this point, they can win national tournaments if pushed strong enough and dedicated enough. You're going to see a lot of familiar names here and faces, so let's get into it. Number 52, Corrin. That's right, Corrin, who thankfully is back on the map thanks to a young, strapping gentleman named MK Leo. He was able to defeat Meister at the G4 Invitational, and not only that, he was able to use Corrin at Delfino Mazzaretta to win the entire tournament over Spargo, of course, alongside Byleth. But it really was incredible to see what this character can do. I'm putting Corrin at 52, but it could be way higher. He himself said the character was busted on Twitter. Shattuck is another rep, of course, of Corrin, probably the best of the solo mains of Corrin, who was able to upset Cosmos at Collision, and Cosmos was contender for best player in America at that point. The only problem with Corrin is that Corrin is very underrepresented. They could improve more with more, representation and top players playing them, like MK Leo. And is overshadowed by higher ranked sorties. But my goodness, when you play Corrin, try just landing a backer and just look at the raw knockback of that move. Look at the fact that when you charge a forward touch on someone, they're sort of stuck in shield and they have to just be willing to take a huge, massive hit. The priority on the up B, the strength of her throws, the range of her up air, the knockback of her up air, the range of her nair. There's a lot of good things going for Corrin, and I'm expecting a lot more players to pick her up now that Leo has shown the light. Leo has shown us the light, rather. Number 51, Ike. Ike was the original bad boy for Ultimate. The original, is this character maybe the best in the game? We're discovering it. Of course, he's not the best in the game, but he's an upper mid-tier character. Jab 3, Up Smash, and Side B all received knockback buffs in the last patch. Results largely dropped off when Leo stopped using the character. Issue is Ike has a very telegraphed neutral and slow frame data and movement. On top of that, his recovery is very susceptible. Of course, side B goes pretty fast, and up B can spike you. But if you know what you're doing, you just punish it at the peak, or sort of read where he's going to land. I wouldn't call him Gandalf with a sword, of course, because he's way better than Gandalf. But he's a slow man. But that nair, my god, that nair. That nair alone could end wars. So you're going to see a lot of spam for that character. Definitely receives a huge buff online. Offline, you don't see as many results. I remember Raven King was one of the main reps for him, switched to Joker. RM8, the online menace, another one there too. As a Puff player, I hate the matchup. But still strong enough where you can make upsets and still combo consistent enough to win a lot of matchups. So number 51, Ike. Number 50 is Pichu. There's not too much to say about Pichu. Of course, since that infamous nerf on the forward tilt, Pichu has dropped multiple tiers and hasn't changed too much since. She's generally lacking in results post-COVID. She's the lightest character in the game. It's too much glass, not enough cannon, very inconsistent. It's just so hard to justify Pichu when Pikachu is right there, Has some speed and can be a little annoying mosquito to catch pretty often, but it's Pichu, Just play the bigger one. Play the bigger rat. I did like seeing the cat play Pichu at Summit, though. Although he didn't make a huge run or anything. He had some games that he was doing some crazy options and sort of going off crazy with combos. And if you could just do that, but every single time, it would be a lot more interesting to see. I just wish they didn't nerf her to the ground so hard. Number 49 is Hero, the RNG King Hero. Kakikusu makes it into higher brackets at Japan Regionals, but apart from that, you don't see many notable results for this character. Poor RNG can hurt the character's options, and on the flip side, good RNG can just make you win any matchup. You have really slow movement and frame data, and you're sort of relying on your reaction time to that spell menu in order to win. The aerials, while having really good knockback, take a long time to come out, and you're sort of just praying that your opponent doesn't really know what they're doing either. I do like the fact that if you catch someone off guard, that fully charged side B can send them flying at low percent and almost kill them, or fully charged neutral with the fireball, which is huge knockback too. He's a very strength heavy character, but the speed is really where he's lacking. The up B can go pretty hard, but again, he's the one character that has an MP meter constantly dictating what you can and cannot do. And you gotta be able to use resource allocation. So hero mains need to be dedicated. This character at one point was, people were calling for a ban for this character. Once they realized his weaknesses, they were like, maybe we don't need to. So he's still hilarious though. I just want to see someone win a turn with Hocus Pocus, they turn giant. That's one thing too. It really is. If you just mash Spellbook and top deck, you could be the biggest legend in the world. Or go 0-2 in a weekly. Number 48, Wii Fit Trainer. The trainer is here. Trainer's good. John Numbers, Varun, and 9 Super Pie perform well locally, but they fall short at majors. I think the biggest issue with Wii Fit Trainer is the awkward hitboxes. She struggles to land pretty often, and again struggles versus disjoints. The meta for Wii Fit is rinse and repeat. Knock away your opponent, use deep breathing to turn into a very angry red person, and as said red person, pray and hope for a kill that you can catch. And of course, spam a lot of soccer balls, I guess volleyballs, I don't really know what it's called, I think it's a soccer ball, against your opponents from the ledge. She makes it sort of risky to go off stage with her. The up B is sort of tricky, has some hitboxes to it, and if you get too close to her and her up B soccer ball comes out, or side B comes out, you're gonna have a pretty bad time. And, you know, props to Varun especially for showing what this character can do. But because of her awkwardness, I think that's the problem, is she doesn't really fare too well or make it too far in the top 8s. There's just characters that pretty much invalidate what she can do. And again, it's just patience. Just parry the soccer balls, parry the Sun Salute, and avoid the angry red person, and you should be okay versus this character. But I've lost to it many times. So what do I know? Number 47 is Bayonetta. So Bayonetta has definitely had some reps for a while in this game. Mistaken Lima placed well at SmashCon Fall Fest, but otherwise there's only a few notable results at majors. She has telegraphed combo starters, but she can struggle to find kills sometimes. Again, if you know what you're doing with Witch Time, it's fine too. And against floaties, it's really hard to avoid. You know, the Witch Twist, and of course a side B, up B setups to continue flying into the air. And not nearly the fear that this character used to put into you in Smash 4 is present, but still, the developers for this game left enough where you can still feel familiar while using her zero death combos. But again, you can easily mess those up, and because you can easily mess those up, then you can get hit pretty hard, die kind of early. There's a lot of counterplay to Bayonetta. Again, it's just a game of patience too. But some of the good players have really found insane gimps off the top, and just in general ways to kill that are more unique than was in Smash 4. So Bayonetta, of course, solid upper middle tier character in my opinion, and number 47 on my list. Number 46, Sora. So, the story with Sora is that Zachary placed very well overseas upon the character's release, even winning a major tournament, but since then, results for this character have massively fallen off. He is extremely floaty. I mean, the definition of floaty. I play Puff, and I'm like, bro. He struggles to land, but he does have some untapped potential with extended combos that may improve in the future. To me, he's the kind of character you hand a controller to your little brother who's never played Smash and just say, press buttons, and he's probably not going to do too bad, because that's sort of the way he was designed. Mashing is actually good with this character, with the aerial and the Keyblade swings, and of course, you can sort of spam any of his neutral B moves with Fire God, Thunder God, Blizzaga, to freeze, burn, or of course kill your opponent at early percents, especially off the ledge. Contender for best recovery in the game. There's literally no place, I think, on any stage he can't recover from, and any of the neutrals. I'm literally serious. Like, I'm pretty sure you send him to the furthest pit of the corner of Kalos, I'm pretty sure he can still recover, because he has the up B, which goes pretty high, and then of course 3 homing attacks, which just send him wherever he needs to go. And that up B has massive knockback too, so it's risky to even go off stage and contest with him too. But yeah, I could see Sora doing a deep run, but people now have gotten so fed up with him that you're gonna have some trouble. You're gonna have some trouble, and that's why Zachary probably dropped him. Alrighty, so that's it for video 2. There's still so many characters right at the midpoint of the roster that we're not even done with the upper mid tier yet. So please comment your thoughts below in this list, and come back tomorrow for the 3rd video in the series, the high tiers. We'll finish off the upper mid tier and reveal a majority of the high tier cast. I'll see you next time.